To order, and let's see, we need approval of the agenda. Need a motion to approve the agenda.
I move it.
Ms. Evancheck makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Dr. Kelly seconds. Any discussion or comments or anything? Hearing none, Ms. Evancheck, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly?
Yes.
Dr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Destin?
Yes.
And I vote yes. The motion carries 5-0. So now we're to discussion agenda 3.1, Superintendent's Annual Financial Report and Program Cost Report for year ending June 30th, 2020. Mr. Superintendent?
All right, thank you. And I think at this point it would be appropriate for Ms. Gown to come forward and share some financial information.
Okay, I think all of you received the electronic copy for the AFR, and Superintendent's Annual Financial Report, and the cost report with your agenda item, and then there was also a hard copy. So basically what this is two reports that we have to submit to the state annually. Typically, just for clarification, typically the dates fall where we can do the final budget and the AFR on the same date, so it doesn't require a special meeting, but about every 3 or 4 years those dates don't coincide, so it requires a special meeting, and that's why we're having that today. But the Superintendent's Annual Financial Report is in two components. It basically is an accounting of how we have spent our money in the previous year, which, as we've gone through the year, you've approved the budget, you've approved the expenditures based on the procedures and school board policies that are in place. So there's nothing new there. And then it also will show you your fund balances, your beginning, your ending fund balances, and any unrestricted money, restricted money, designated, assigned, unassigned dollars. So that is what the AFR is. And then in addition to the state model that we have to submit, we also have to present it in a government-wide model, which is a second requirement. So both of those models are in your yellow AFR book, and that's why you'll see the tab that says Superintendent's Annual Financial Report, and then you'll see Report of Financial Data. So those are the two different models. They are the same information, just in different model types. And the government-wide, that changed probably now 10 years ago, and the reason for that change because it used to just be based on the state model, but that was changed with the intent that it would help all lay people understand and be able to compare a private sector business to a governmental business. That was the intent. The reality is that would be very hard for someone to do, but anyway, that was adopted. We have to do it. We do it, and it's there. And then your cost report is your second document, and what it does is it goes through again. It's all your expenditures that you have incurred in the previous year, 2019-20. It breaks it down by school. It breaks it down by what is a school direct cost, what's an indirect cost, what's a district indirect cost, what's a district direct cost. And this document is what they use to pull a lot of information to do profiles and statistics at the state level. So lots of times when you go out there and you go to pull some information, if you were to go pull information on expenditures of instructional personnel compared to overall personnel costs, they're pulling that from this document. So this is what they use for a lot of statistical analysis at the state level. So basically, unless you have any questions, that's kind of a summary of what this is. And as someone was talking to me about it, the bottom line on these documents are that you can't change anything on them because they're expenditures. They've already been incurred. They've already happened. So
Right.
so there's no modifications that you can make to this.
Okay.
but it does need to come to the board and be approved.
So I'll start with Ms. Vancheck, if you would like.
Well, one thing I wanted to talk, just briefly mention, I'm looking at the long-term debt, and I think I had that right, that has to do with what's remaining on paying off schools we had built, right? And so that's looking much better and looking good. And of course, as we're looking towards doing some improvements and needing some money, that's showing that in good faith, we've taken care of our bills. So that'd be good for the public to see that. But I know part of that is the actual payment on it, and then some of the bonds, and then it says certificates of participation, all the costs involved in those last schools we built in 2000.
6, 7.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, sometime earlier. So I have that correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
and just to mention to you, just yesterday, I got a draft from Moody's, which is a bond rating agency, and so they sent it to me wanting me to look over it, and in that, and I'll send you guys a copy, but in that it talks about that Okaloosa School District is in a good, stable financial position, that we have minimal debt, so all of, and those are important ratings, so that would be good information for y'all to be able to have, to see.
That would be useful for the public to know as we're moving forward with some plans we have.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dr. Kelly?
No, I just think it's very thorough, and as you said, required by the state. Most people don't understand that we have all of these documents that are required by the state, but they do help us understand that we're in good standing all the way around. One thing I like to note every time we do something like this is those indirect costs are out of our control, and often when we apply for grants, we have to adjust those indirect costs, so you don't always get the bottom dollar that you seek or that you ask for or that you think you can obtain, because you have to take out those indirect costs.
Correct.
So, thank you.
Dr. White?
Thank you, Chairman Bryant. Just as usual, Ms. Gallen, good job on trying to put all of this together. I noticed that we have two notebooks because it's so large. I'm just curious, do you transmit this to the state in electronic form, or do you actually transmit hard copies?
No, we will actually transmit the ESC 139, which is the state template. We transmit that electronically,
I see.
but then we have to follow up with other required
Right.
documentation
Right.
and with the government-wide statements. Those have to be sent in as a hard copy.
Right. So since it goes electronically, though, on their form, I guess that makes all of their comparisons a little easier to tabulate and to do. All right, good, thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Destin?
Oh, nothing other than good job once again. And you mentioned that we had to approve something. Is that on the agenda?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we're
mean,
getting
it's
ready.
under your agenda item. It's
Oh,
not
at the meeting,
necessarily-
I got you.
Yeah, that it's noted in the minutes that this was
Yeah.
presented to you.
And that's really all we're doing, since we can't change anything, as you said.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, a lot of work went into something that we really don't have any ability to change.
And I will just say also, Ms. Gallen, thank you very much for all that you do. And as Ms. Vancheck said, moving forward to some items that are out there that people are going to be voting on soon, I think it does show that we, as a board and as a collective unit, we are being good stewards of taxpayer dollars, and that we are working well within our means. But like everything else that comes to us, we have a lot of restrictions on funds, and the funds that we are allowed to use, I think we have shown the public that we are good stewards of the money. So great job.
Absolutely, and we are probably the most regulated, the most audited, and held to the highest
Right.
level of accountability of any governmental organizations. So yes, and because of the board and the superintendents, we have pushed every dollar that we can out to schools to provide those resources to students, but at the same time keeping us in good financial condition.
And I appreciate you saying that, because people outside of the school district think, just like any other government agency, we just have free reign over everything, and we really don't. And you're right, this, you know, coming into this position, I was one of those people who thought, and obviously my thought process has changed over the last
You're
4 years.
reformed.
I'm reformed. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But again, thank you very much for all that you do. So,
I just want to say one more thing.
Yep.
Not for you just to say, but on that line is that this document is a public document.
it is.
So everyone in the public can see this document on our website and so forth, and look at it and see, so it's all out there. So sometimes people think, well, you're not putting it out there. Yes, we put everything out there where everybody can see where every penny goes, so they need to check it out.
And I would like to just follow up, Ms. Vancheck, on that.
Oh.
In that same note, on the finance webpage, every document, budget documents, annual financial reports, cost reports, school financial report, which is a different one, every financial document that we have, every memo correspondence is on the website, and it's out there for the last 20 years, so they can go back, you know, if they want to look and do any kind of analysis or review, it is all out there posted.
Good, thank you for that, yes.
All right. And I believe that we do have to vote on this, so I need a motion to accept the superintendent's annual financial report and program cost report for year ending June 30th, 2020. I need a motion to approve, please.
I'll make the motion to approve the superintendent's AFR.
Thank you. Dr. Kelly makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Mr. Destin makes a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Vancheck, how do you vote?
Yes,
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Destin, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. The motion carries 5-0. Is there any other business that we need to go over? Hearing none, this meeting's adjourned.